Now, say my name.
The Rolling Bad Podcast.
You're goddamn right.
Welcome to the Rolling Bad Podcast, episode number 70, coming to you from the desolate wasteland of Albuquerque, New Mexico. We're recording on Sunday, June 9th, and I am your host, Elric Edge. With me today is
Bill Costello, as always.
How you doing, Bill?
Oh, boy. I'm good. I'm fat. I got brownies in me.
All right.
I'm like, yeah, life is good.
Life is good.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to talk about?
I heard there was this Age of Sigmar game. I don't know how big it is, but it's a departure from Ninth Age, so we should probably talk about it.
Yeah. How's that keto diet working out?
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, no.
Feel ready to push some square bases? Is your mind ready for that level of complication?
Nah, I'm too fat, and my brain doesn't work as
Yeah.
fast, so.
Yeah, I saw the square bases, and I crap my pants while eating a Twinkie. It was just way over my head.
Big time, yeah. Those rolls are just,
Beyond 4 pages.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, there's been, there hasn't really been a lot at the moment.
Right.
We're like right on the cusp of some huge rollouts.
Yes.
Which we'll
get into.
We'll squeal about like teenage girls here momentarily.
In just a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, before we jump into the actual show itself, I want to talk about a couple of anniversaries coming up.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was not aware of this. Aaron Bostian posted the other day that July 4th is the 4th anniversary of Age of Sigmar. The announcement, I guess, was made on July 4th.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
Yeah. So we've been doing this game for 4 years.
Yeah.
So.
Because all the years of square basing before that didn't count.
Well, it didn't count for me.
Well, yeah.
I didn't square base.
Oh, fancy you.
So, I was always a round baser, so.
Well, let me regale you with tales of rank and flank and 40 spearmen not being able to see a giant demon prince, 5 feet away from them because it was a quarter
the angle
inch.
Was off?
Yeah, just a bit outside. Yeah, exactly. So good.
I look back at that, and I look back at that rule set, and I'm just like, that is so over the top, over complicated.
Right.
I don't see. Well, I mean, I know it was fun. Obviously, people were having a lot of fun with it.
Was it though?
But that's the whole thing. Is really was it fun, or was it something you did because you couldn't get away from it? You had to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those things. No, I don't want to dig in. It was good times, and anybody who played it for a long time over the course of multiple editions, I think we can all, for the most part, agree that the game progressed better and better. I know there's some fallout when 8th came out, but I thought 8th was the best edition of Square Base, anyways, ever. Yeah, and then obviously Age of Sigmar is just. I think it's aging like a fine wine, man. It just keeps getting better and better.
They do. They go from strength to strength on it.
Yeah,
and it's maturing nicely.
And there's spikes here and there. You'll get your Disciples of Zinch shenanigans and
your Slaanesh.
Yeah, weird stuff like that. But the company is so in tune with the community now that it's anything like that. I don't think will be in play for too long.
No, I don't. I think they've got a handle on. I think they know what the community wants because they've re-engaged and. They kind of know now what it means to make a good game and a playable game.
Right.
Because, one thing I look back at those old days, and especially in the fantasy Warhammer fantasy battles, I saw a lot more of people enjoying the company and the people they were with than the game itself. I think the game was the thing that drew them into the room, but they were having more fun just talking.
The game was the excuse to get away.
Yeah.
Whereas now you look forward to all of it.
To actually playing the games.
I think, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So
along with Anniversaries, you ready for this? This one's going to hurt.
Hit me with this.
I'm going to hit you with this. the first episode of Rolling Bad was issued on Friday, June 17th. So before we record next, will be our 3rd anniversary of doing this show.
3 years.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's kind of crazy.
You mean just over 3 years ago, you played your siren song to me in a Del Taco.
Yes, in a Del Taco. Over a chalupa.
And lured me into this hell.
This nightmare that is every 2 weeks.
Oh, God.
Oh.
That's crazy. You know, it's so weird because, like, I think, wow, yeah, 3 years. But then I immediately think, well, Witek's been doing it for, I mean, I'm pretty sure he was recording when Pearl Harbor was attacked.
Yeah,
right? That's how long Witek's been doing it.
Yeah, because he said something about a day that will live in infamy or something. Yeah.
Something about, like, I don't know, he was doing some kind of a in-depth narrative review when on Armistice Day, and he interrupted everything to... Yeah. Talking
to a hockey puck or something? I don't know.
Yeah. I remember I was there listening when he talked about Lincoln getting shot. I don't know. Witek's been around a while. That's what I'm saying. Like, the guy's old. Anyways.
Well, there goes our last 2 Midwest listeners.
All right. Yeah. Wow, 3 years.
Yep.
Cool. Well.
And honestly, when you think about it, we should have, if we kept up to every 2 weeks, we should have 78 episodes out. Or 76 episodes.
Who was that math man?
But we're on 70, so really we've only missed half a dozen shows in that whole time.
So what you're saying is for the rest of the year, we got to put out a show every week to catch up.
Yeah, we got to get back on track.
Yeah.
We got to hit 100 soon.
Right?
Yeah, no.
Do you want me to make the announcement now?
Oh, go for it.
Yeah. So, due to technological advancements that Bill has made, here's what we're thinking about doing for episode 75. We're going to do a live show.
Dun, 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 dun.
We'll put out our contact information on the tweeters, and you can call in
with your questions,
or comments, or
speech,
whatever. Yeah, and be a part of the show.
Scary. I don't know if we're ready for
this. The look on your face is so rich. It's like a fresh cannoli. Yeah. I like it. This is going to be good. It's going to be episode 75, so stay tuned. Yeah, we'll put it out on social media and all that stuff.
Yeah, we'll get ready for it. Dump the bodies, save the cannolis.
Yep.
So,
all right, let's kick into this.
Okay, another couple of shout-outs real quick. Hey, just a odd random piece of news. Did you hear that Games Workshop gave their employees a £5 million bonus?
Again.
Yeah, split.
They did it last year, too.
Evenly, which I thought was interesting. It's not by where you are in the structure. It was just evenly among the employees. I don't know if that includes the retail guys, but it probably does.
I don't know. We could go ask one of them.
Yeah, well, we probably can, but he's actually in Vegas right now.
What?
Yeah, Anders is in Vegas.
Why?
Lady Gaga concert. I don't know if it was him or if it was a girl.
No, he is super in love with Lady Gaga.
Okay, well then he's there for Lady Gaga. Yeah, he missed the Contrast demo day to be with Lady Gaga and not us.
Does somebody at Games Workshop hear this?
God, I hope not.
The Lady Gaga is more important than contrast paints?
I can't. Well, all right.
Is that even a thing?
She's got kind of a good voice, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, she's no Taylor Swift.
Right. She's no Tay-Tay.
That's for you, Chuck.
Nice. Well, I mean, that is cool, though, that, like, even the people boxing up the sprues. And
Yep, everybody. So, I mean, that is really, when you think about it, they've had another banner year. And I guess their profits went up by, like, 10 or 12 million. And they took 5 of that and handed it out.
That is bananas. Could you imagine a company in the States doing that?
Let me see here. If you agree to a 60-hour work week from now on, sure, we'll give you a bonus. We'll give you an extra 2 hours off a week. How's that?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that will accrue. You can You don't really need all that time off anyway. Right?
Yeah, because in case the universal health care and stellar education system and whatnot didn't work out for you, here's, just a big-ass bonus on top of that.
Yeah.
Hopefully that gets you through.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. If you spend it wisely and not like an idiot.
Do we know how many employees they have?
I do not know. No, I don't.
I didn't make that so you could do the quick math on.
Mm-mm. Well, okay. I guess you could kind of do the quick math because in the article it said something about like between a 22 and 2,500 pound bonus per employee.
Good Lord.
Yeah. That's a chunk of money.
It's like a $3,500 to $4,000-ish dollar
bonus. Yeah, I'd work for GW for that.
Cool. So my mortgage is covered for the next, 4 or 5 months.
Sure.
Because, the company I'm working for just happens to be hot.
Or you could turn that into plastic with your employee discount, and you could have like a Sisters of Battle Army for nothing.
Put me back in, Bill. Oh,
we're back in. Yeah, so that's the bonus deal. I think that's really cool for them. I'm glad to see it because they're producing good, so they should get good stuff.
You dropped an S-bomb there.
I did, and I apologize for that. Next up, I want to throw a shout-out to the guys out at Cubic Shenanigans. Once again, if you haven't listened to their podcast, do it, because they're cool. Dan and Brandon, they cover everything. Games Workshop. The books, the 40K, the AOS. They're a little anti-Middle-earth, I think. But they put out a pretty good show, and they have a lot of fun, and it's just a really good show. Take a listen to it, and I'm not just saying it to beg for free T-shirts because I'm sending them some of our T-shirts. So,
Oh, yeah, those are the guys that did send shirts for everybody but not me.
God, you weren't on the podcast.
Oh, yeah. All the years of blood, sweat, and tears that I put in equate to nothing. That's good to know. All right.
Oh, you poor
Thanks, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll just keep giving them shouts.
Yeah, I will. Because, I do. I enjoy their show. It's a lot of fun. It's like Ashes of the Imperium. It's you never know what you're going to get, but it's almost always really fun to listen to. So, once again, shout out to them. I would shout out to Jake Berry and the Rage of Sigmar podcast, but they're potty mouths.
Are they? Are they
now? So if you like a more irreverent look at things, yeah, Rage of Sigmar is just listen and you decide. I won't say anything.
Check it out.
Jake is, Jake. He's a hell of a guy. So, okay, guys, this is a last-minute addition to the show. I know it's in the news section, but I added it after the rest of the show was recorded. We got information from the guys that run the Sound the Warplums Twitch TV channel as well as YouTube channel. It's pretty interesting news, so I'm going to read the press release as written. So, Sound the Warplums welcomes guest co-host Tyler Emerson of Scrubby and Wells podcast fame as they cover the Flying Monkey Age of Sigmar GT in Wichita, Kansas this coming weekend, June 22nd and 23rd. The coverage planned to kick off Friday night with some pre-tournament reporting and possibly list and matchup coverage. The coverage will continue on Saturday with live streaming of the first 3 rounds and concludes on Sunday with live streaming of the last 2 rounds. Each round will consist of pre-game commentary and list coverage, followed by a full stream of the game and ending with post-game interviews. Please tune in for the live coverage at Sound the Warplums Twitch TV channel, which is www.twitch.tv/soundthewarplums, all one word. The coverage will also going to be exported to the Sound the Warplums YouTube channel, and that's a pretty complicated URL, so I won't even begin to sound it out. I will put the link in the show notes, though, so you can check it out. I've watched some of these guys' battle reports, and they're pretty good on YouTube. I really like them. They know what they're talking about. Kinda. At least more than me, which is not hard. So their plan is to live stream all of the action, bandwidth permitting, but if it doesn't work out well, they'll post the recorded games shortly after they occur, if the internet out there isn't cooperating with them. So if you're looking for something to watch this weekend, AOS-wise, the Flying Monkey Age of Sigmar GT out there in Wichita is going to be live streamed all weekend. And you got Tyler Emerson, too, so how bad could that be, right? All right, thanks, guys. So do we want to move on to the new stuff?
Let's do it.
Let us do it.
Well, what's this?
See, you're talking over my...
I'm so sorry. I stole your thunder.
You're ruining everything.
Oh, man. What is this Summertime Slaughter thing you have?
Oh.
What is this?
We didn't do our shout-out to Summertime Slaughter at Gamers Haven in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania.
It's so confusing. I see
Saturday,
Phoenix
July 27th. Yeah, I know. Phoenixville.
No, Phoenixville. Yeah. Okay.
July 27th, 28th, Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. Go play. Have fun. Summertime Slaughter. Don't miss it, or you will be slaughtered.
And your soul is mine. My God.
Oh, just because you can do a thing doesn't mean you should do a thing.
Right.
Sorry. So, in the new stuff, which I already played the music for, but you ruined it.
I know.
Okay.
I jumped the gun.
Yeah.
I've been told I do that sometimes.
Not going there. So, the first thing up is Forbidden Power. I want to correct something I said last time. And I said that the Merc rules, the mercenary rules, were not for matched play. And that was about as big a lie as you can tell, because it is for matched play. I mean, you can do it in open play and narrative play too, but the rules are there for matched play. But if you think that, mercenaries are going to ruin everything, no, the rules are very structured. It eats into your allies' points. And if you take mercenaries in your force on turn 1, you give up your command point. You don't get your automatic command point. So,
I thought you said every turn.
No, it's
you don't
first
get the
turn.
Automatic.
No, just the first turn you don't get the automatic command point.
Oh, okay.
Because, you're still trying to get your stuff together. So you're using that command point to keep the mercenaries in line. So.
Okay. Well, in the announcement for General's Handbook 2019, there's more
mercs coming.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting.
Yep. So, yeah, I just wanted to correct that because I got that just dead wrong. So.
Wow, listen to you. You're growing.
I'm willing to admit.
You're growing as a person.
I am willing to admit when the world has made a mistake, and I reported on it, and then they corrected their error, and I'm able to report on that now.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'm a good Republican. I don't make mistakes.
Wow.
Just ask me.
Yeah.
Because Fox News said. All right. Sorry.
All right. Yeah. So how about we continue on the contrast paints hype train? Because everybody's on board this. Well, I guess not everybody's on board it. There's some whiners out there, some whingers.
Yes.
As it were. I don't know how you could have anything negative to say at this point about contrast paints once we've seen just how, not just what Games Workshop painters are putting out there, which obviously, they want they want the best representation.
Right.
But now this stuff is pretty much out in the wild, for the people who do reviews and whatnot. And they've been
and even regular people, because I did a demo at the store yesterday.
Are you a regular person?
Yes.
Okay.
And there were people next to me who were even more regular.
They're even more normal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's just, I don't see how you could have negative stuff to say about this anymore.
So yeah, for the negative Nellies out there, if you don't want to use them, don't buy them. If you're bitching about the price, don't buy them. If you're bitching about what they're going to do, don't buy them. Shut up and keep doing what you're doing.
Yep.
If you just really want to crap on other people's hobby, well, maybe you should just pick a different hobby. Right. Why don't you go be a ninth ager? Because they love your kind.
Wow.
So, well, I'm serious. If you're just the kind of person that wants to shit on someone for using a new tool that is admittedly
it's amazing,
flippin' amazing.
Yeah.
Then you have no business being in a community. You're one of those people.
It's talent in a pot.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. And it's going to be, there's more painted armies out there to a much better quality. Like, right. I just don't understand why you would have anything negative to say. Yeah. You can't go to an event and complain that there's gray plastic, or that people just, they rattle canned it black, dotted the eyes green, and then put a red circle on the back of all the models.
Mhm.
And that's their 3-color minimum. I'm tired of it. And then there comes a tool like contrast paints that is going to make it significantly easier to put something that is actually a 3-color, what we all understand.
As
Really.
a tabletop quality.
Yeah. And be like, wow, that's garbage too. Like,
Yeah.
really?
Really?
Come on, man.
I'm waiting for the first event that says that your contrast painted army doesn't meet the painting rubric.
Right.
And as
I
soon
wanna
as
see,
when
yeah.
I see that, I'm just going to fly out there and beat him to death.
Yeah, that'll be in the painting rubric.
Mhm.
Is any of the paint used?
Yeah.
Contrast paint.
Yeah.
No. Okay, they get full points.
Yeah, then they get 0 points if it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I should put that in my LVO. No.
Nice. So yeah, it's just some of the stuff is amazing.
Yeah, I got a
It's coming
chance
out.
to go to the store and do a demo yesterday, and I was absolutely amazed. And I was really just playing around with them because I had already ordered them that morning,
Mm-hmm.
and they're truly amazing. Now, there's tricks to them. There is a technique that you have to figure out. Like, you can't paint over areas. You can't like touch up a spot because it will mess up the effect. And they do tend to dry. They are gel paints is basically what they are. They're gel based with varying amounts of pigment. Some of them have really heavy pigment. Some of them have light pigment. But because they're a gel based paint, after they've dried for a little while, but they still kind of look wet, if you hit the brush to them, you will like pop that film that forms over them as it starts to dry, and it will start to look like junk.
Okay, so I've heard varying reports on this, but you have seen it firsthand. How long does it take to dry?
I would say it starts to dry to the point to where you can go over that area gently in about 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I would say if you give it 20, 25 minutes, you won't have any ill effects from layering over it.
This is really not any worse than just a heavy wash.
No, and that's pretty much what if you approach it as a wash, put a big glob at the top and then let your brush and gravity do the work. And then don't touch it. You will get a really beautiful effect. And then everything comes down from using the medium to thin them out. And all those other effects come from the thins out and then layering them on top of each other or blending them into each other because they do blend really well.
So you can take a red and a blue contrast paint
Yeah.
and blend them together successfully.
Yes.
Okay.
And you will get a purpley kind of thing.
Okay.
So yeah, they're just. I did the bolter on my Blood Angel first, and it was literally drag that new black along a line on the top of the bolter, and then just pull it down with the brush, and you could instantly see the highlights develop, and then the shade develop. The recessed areas get blacker, and then all of a sudden it was dry and it was done. The gun was done. Didn't have to touch it again. I'm like, oh my God.
But you could hit it with a quick dry brush and just not take it up that much.
Yeah. When you're done, a quick dry brush with like a lead belcher or XV88, I think is the metal. Mm-hmm. Then boom. Or no, not XV88, Necron compound. Sorry, the silver one. And your bolter's done. But again, it's like I was telling Troy out at the store. These are the kind of paints that on a per model basis, it's going to save you like maybe 20 minutes per model, 30 minutes. You can then spend that other 30 minutes highlighting up areas or touching up this or touching up that and still have the same amount of time invested. Or, you can just stop. When the contrast is done, you can stop and put it on the table and it looks great.
That's so wild. That is so wild. I cannot wait to get my hands on some of this stuff.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And I'm really kind of upset that they sold out of the set. But understand that they sold out of the big set and they sold out of some of the paints. But there's still quite a few of them available to order on the website. So
Yeah.
and we were talking about this last night in the chat. I truly don't believe they sold out of contrast paints. What I believe is they sold out of transport capacity to move these things all around the countries and the world.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I did a rough calculation last night, and I came out with somewhere on the order of a few million pots of paint are going to be moving this week or have already moved within the last couple of weeks. Just staging areas and what have you. And I think really they just ran out of transport capacity.
It was enough to paint 2 realms of Battleboard.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's true, unfortunately.
Probably run out on the third one, but
yeah, probably.
Well,
So, yeah. I mean, those are truly game changers. And I would say don't walk to your GW store or your
wherever,
friendly local game store when they open up on Saturday and grab them. Because, man, the Plague Bringer green is seriously a one-coat finish for Poxwalkers and Plague Bringers. It's just put it on, walk away, come back, and you're done. With the exception, touching up any clothes they might be wearing, or you want to make some of their boils look bad.
Right.
But other than that, you could literally paint them with the one coat, walk away, boom, your unit of 20 is done. And nobody's going to look at you like, well, they look like crap. 3 colors, good to go.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So good. So hyped.
I am too.
Nice. Okay.
I am too.
What else we got? New merch. What is this, Bill?
Okay, so this is something I've been working on off and on for a few weeks.
Okay.
We are very soon going to be opening up a merch store where you can buy Rolling Bad. Oh, I don't know. Typical crap that you would buy from any other person's merch store. Like
right.
Coffee cups, T-shirts, iPhone cases, you name it.
Nice.
So, yeah, there's going to be a limited bunch of items at first, and then we'll expand the line more and more. And we'll see how things sell, and we'll drop stuff, and we'll add stuff, and, we'll go from there.
Can I get a Rolling Bad thong with my likeness so that I can wear it backwards?
Yeah, well, let me, I'll talk to him.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
Nope.
No.
Damn. I got to dictate my narrative like that.
Yeah. Well, in this case, I think it's just for the betterment of everyone. Yeah.
All right.
But going along with the merch, we're almost ready to unveil some new logo caricatures, if you will. So, long story short, basically, if you know the name Stone Monk Gamer or Eric Stone Monk Gamer, he is not just a narrative guy and not just a fellow podcaster, but he's also an artist.
Very talented.
Very talented artist. And he has made some caricatures for Ryan and Elric and myself. And I'm personally over the moon with mine. I freaking love it.
Yeah.
And yours is pretty cool, and so is Ryan's. So in the very near future, we should have some new logo items, which will go on the merch, too.
Sweet.
So, yeah, we'll be unrolling those here shortly, or revealing those here shortly. They're cool. Very cool. So thank you, Eric. You are quite the guy.
Yeah. Thank you.
Are we ready to go on to creation? I mean, new stuff.
Yeah.
Duh.
Well,
What did we not hit? Maybe that General's Handbook thing?
yeah, we talked about that.
Only a little. We only talked about it as it applied to mercenaries.
Yeah, well, we don't really know a whole lot about it. They said the armies that will be covered in it. So unfortunately, Seraphon and Ironjaws were listed among those armies. So that means while it'll be nice to get maybe a little bit of update on them, it also means that that new books for those factions likely won't be
coming anytime soon. Yeah. And that's kind of sad because I thought there was a pretty solid rumor that the Seraphon book was coming up pretty soon.
Yeah.
Which, if it's not, that book has languished for a long time. I mean, it was the first book that wasn't Stormcast, that wasn't the box set.
Right.
So.
But they are the only one that has it. They have a book.
Mm-hmm.
But then they got updated in the General's Handbook with more rules, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, Fire Slayer's got that same.
Fire Slayers and Iron
yeah,
Jaws
and Flesh Eater Cord.
So, yeah.
Never mind.
So, yeah, the General's Handbook goes up for sale next week. That would be what? Today's... So 9 plus 6 is 15th. So it'll go up for sale on the 15th.
Oh,
and,
the General's Handbook is usually a 2-week thing, isn't it? It gets announced, and then it's 2 weeks pre-orders for it before it drops.
It just says next week you'll be able to pre-order this essential guide for gaming. I don't know when the actual drop will be. It might be. Because, they do normally do it as a 2-week thing.
So
hopefully they're getting over that, because there was no point in that.
Yeah, no, not
like
really.
Generating more pre-orders or something? I don't know.
Yeah, it's something that everybody's going to pick up. So
yeah,
and really the big difference here is that the General's Handbook will be separate from the points values.
Yes,
that's going to be interesting to see how that works out. So
yeah, I think that's a very good idea, a very good change.
Yeah,
it lets them update it in any manner they so choose without invalidating the book. So
Yep.
I like it.
Yeah, I really don't think there's a whole lot of other stuff. We're kind of dealing with the calm after Slanesh.
Yeah, we're dealing with the calm, and I truly believe that they used up a great deal of just money to move product around with the paints. And it's not just contrast paint. There's like 4 new technical paints, like a bunch of new layers, a bunch of new bases.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff.
So,
have you seen that purple?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Wow, that purple is fantastic.
I know.
How did it take them this long to make that rich of a royal purple?
That is just, whoa.
Yeah, that one had me excited.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This paint release is pretty all encompassing.
Yeah.
The airline is pretty extensive, the air paints now. So
that's another thing actually I saw on Twitter was some people have been running the contrast paints through their airbrushes, and the results are pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
It's going to be an interesting thing because those, I'm going to have to play with that when I get some.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting effect because, I mean, half of the application of this is to actually let it pool and then flow.
Create the shade effect.
So,
yeah.
But I mean, you can airbrush anything. Hell, you can airbrush.
Yeah, that really is all that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like maybe I'm missing something, but even the announcements last week on the website, I think revolved around like Necromunda and Blood Bowl and stuff like that. Yeah, so it contrast paints have very likely sucked the oxygen out of the room at the moment for releases, which makes me wonder what is next. What's the big release for 40K going to be next? Like something is. No, I still don't think Sisters are. Yeah, believe me, I want them to be here like yesterday.
I think they're the summer release. I really, really do. I mean, they've proven me wrong months and months in a row. So,
right.
But I think Sisters of Battle are the summer release. What else? We haven't even heard a rumor of anything else unless it's the Angron World Eaters.
Yeah, that's
release.
the only thing I've really heard. But then again, I look back on how solid, air quotes, the rumors for a new Gazkul and all of that were. So, I don't really want to bite too hard on the World Eater stuff.
It's, the rumors these days are just junk.
Yeah.
It's
maybe
almost like they're made up crap.
I think the book that needs to be released is a Space Marine Codex.
Yeah.
Just because there's been so much stuff added post Codex release that that faction just needs to be tidied up again.
Yes.
So,
and especially all the beta rules, the beta bolter rules, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that could really use a redo, but I think they want to get a couple of things out first.
Sure.
So, but that's fine. I still have it in that happy feels place that Sisters are coming out July ish.
Be still my.
It'll probably be like an October thing. They'll call it, July, the month of Sisters. And July 29th is when they release anything about
it.
And
it'll just be the book.
Yeah.
Anyways. But we came out with all kinds of new stuff. No, you didn't. Get out of here.
We were kidding.
Yeah.
But we've got these great designs.
What about, can you want to speculate real quick on what the next Age of Sigmar thing will be? Now that it looks like Seraphon will not be right around the corner.
I've got to go with techless elves, high elves.
So like a whole new faction.
Yeah, something new.
Oh,
something,
man.
With the Slanesh story moving forward, and if they're not going to be updating some older books, maybe this lull that we've seen is that production lull that they needed to, make a whole bunch of new little elves.
Well, if we look at Destruction, everything, now that Iron Jaws will be updated.
Put off a while, yeah.
That leaves Ogres. And I'm going to say Gutbusters and Beastclaw can just be the same thing.
Sure.
Like,
roll them into one.
Yeah. Or Bone Splitters.
Yeah.
One of those two might be the next Destruction. I don't see a new faction for Destruction coming out.
Or maybe 2020 is the year of Destruction,
Yeah, we already had a year of Destruction. It was,
What was that?
Iron Jaws and Beastclaw Raiders and Bone Splitters.
That really didn't count.
Remember, Beastclaw Raiders were like one of the most terrifying things you could put on the table for a while.
Sure.
And they have not recovered from that nerf bat.
No, oh God. Just, the logic behind that.
Yeah, somebody took the soft foam off of that plastic stick and just whacked BCR in the nuts repeatedly. That's the nerf bat treatment they got.
And this is what kills me is hot on the heels of that beatdown came factions that had the same rules, and they're fine with it. They're good with it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, don't worry about that.
It's Destruction, baby.
Because, I understand BCR was winning every major competition. Oh, no, wait, they never won anything. That's right, yeah. Okay, so, all right, you're getting me on that rant again.
Oh, yeah. So good. Anyways, yeah, so you think a new elf faction?
I think, it falls in line with Slanesh.
Yeah.
And the elephant in the room is the fact that Slanesh is pretty damn powerful, on the verge of being OP, maybe?
It's up there.
It's
up there. They don't have a lot of fat around the waist, that's for sure.
No, they're good. And, there needs to be a counter.
Well, I think we have to acknowledge Sylvaneth has got to be at some point dropping.
Well, we know that because
so
they've already admitted it just got a boo boo.
Yeah,
so it's coming for sure. But I think that's skewing a lot of their product placement and movement, because having that book held up is probably holding up some product too.
The whole army just in limbo like that. That's got to be so frustrating.
And it's got to be just driving them nuts because they have to move everything around, because at some point you still have to ship all this stuff.
Right.
And, like I said, with the paints, I think they just exceeded their shipping capacity. It's, talking about moving several million pots of paint around the world, that kind of money adds up. So, and they don't have their own fleet of planes, I don't think.
No. I get to see a GW contrast painted 747 dropping off. Anyways, my money's on another Stormcast book.
Wow, really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow. It's like Rocky 7. Rambo, the final, close to
Final Blood, right? Last Blood.
Last Blood, I think is what they're calling it, yeah. So, okay, I could deal with another Stormcast book. Maybe give them a terrain piece or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because they have endless spells.
Sure.
But they don't have a terrain piece. So they need, I don't know, this whole rollout of the temple terrain could be their terrain piece.
Yeah.
So what do they need a book for?
Because it's Stormcast.
Okay.
They just get one.
We can't go a month without some kind of Stormcast.
We gotta open a new chamber, baby.
I think they should.
Why not?
Because, all those...
what could they use? Some big monsters? Besides the Star Drake? Some great big, I don't know, Realm of Heavens spider, insectoid looking thing.
Storm beasts.
Yeah, just some big storm beasts. Yeah, I got Godzilla in my head. Thinking some kaiju action.
Oh, yeah.
And then they'll be just cheap enough point-wise that you can supplement your other armies with Stormcast. Anyways.
My God, this went off the rails fast.
Yeah, it did. That was pretty rough.
So, enough speculation about what might be coming out.
Yeah.
Boy. Whew.
I can't wait to get my hands on the points. Oh, yeah. Did you see that leaked? Well, yeah, of course you saw it because we linked it in our personal chat.
Yeah.
But somebody allegedly leaked the point value changes in the GHB. What'd you think of those?
They're close enough for me to half believe that list, but then there's so many things that aren't on there that I don't believe it's genuine.
Yeah.
I don't really believe that's accurate.
Yeah, and I think some of the point reductions just seemed so extreme. Like Andrew and I were talking about the Stormcast ones.
Yeah.
And there was like 80 point reductions to certain units, like the Paladins and stuff. And while I think that, there's some units in there that definitely warrant point reductions.
Sure.
I don't think I've ever really seen them make that level
drastic.
Unless it's like something big, a big monster type.
Sure.
That's just being outclassed at this point. So, and then the Cabbage didn't get a reduction on that list. I was like, really?
What was the Stormcast that went battle line? Was it Prosecutors?
The flying guys.
Yeah. Something saying about them going,
Yeah, if you take a Knight Azeros or a Knight, I don't know, man.
Venator.
Yeah.
If you took the Venator, they became battle line. And I'm like, sure, yeah, okay.
Right.
But, who knows? That might be a thing, but I just don't see them making that sweeping a change.
Yeah, how come they could get something like that to make another unit battle line, but KO doesn't get take a Navigator to make Thunderer's battle line? So you incentivize taking 2 units that nobody ever takes.
Well,
something like that. Yeah, I don't think it's.
I think KO are good enough on their own that they don't need.
I will slap you. Anyways.
We're spitballing now.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know what's going on.
But it is fun. Okay. So let's move on to creation.
Okay.
All right.
What have we been creating?
I was about to say poo.
Wow.
Well, we just got done eating tacos and brownies. So, Okay. Enough of that. That's juvenile.
It's the same kind of stuff my 3-year-old would say.
Exactly. I get 50 DKP. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So, creation. What did you create today? And I mean today.
A new level of disappointment for my mother. Oh, you mean with a hobby?
Yes, the hobby.
So earlier, I've been talking about testing out Underworlds, Shadespire.
Yes.
What is it officially called?
It is called Warhammer Underworlds.
Underworlds, yes. And you have all the factions. So the one I gravitated to was the Kharadron Overlords.
Sure.
So I assembled those today, and then almost crossed the finish line on these effing trolls I've been putting together for a while. So I just got to put their heads on.
Yeah, looks like it.
So maybe another 6 hours of hobby. And yeah, that's it. But I have been doing stuff.
Yes, that's right.
And you, for my birthday, because you're such a lovely human being, bought me a box of Chaos Space Marines, which I cannot wait to put together in anticipation for the contrast paints.
Yeah.
Because it's actually going to scratch 2 itches for me. The first being that these new Chaos Marine models are so gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
They're so good that it actually makes me want to do a Chaos Army, which is crazy because I've always crapped on Chaos for a long time.
I know.
It's not so much crapped on Chaos. I crapped on Chaos
players.
Space Marine players.
Yeah.
But and now I'll be joining the fold. But I'm going to paint them as Black Legion.
Nice.
Which also means I'll get to see how the new black contrast paint works, so that when I pick up Primaris, I can paint them as Black Templars.
Nah.
Yeah. So
nice.
It should
plan.
be good. Should be good.
Yep.
Very excited for that. But yeah, I got to wait a few more weeks till we get our mitts on some contrast goodness.
Hot contrast goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, that's been my creation.
Sweet. So for me, it was did more work on the Age of Sigmar terrain.
Yeah, you've been cranking that stuff out. Your table was covered in it when I came in this morning.
Well, I did all the shades before I left on my trip, so they were still here drying. And today I covered everything with Xandru dust and then hit it all with Reichland Flush Shade to give it that red tone. And of course, I had to paint like the tops of the pillars and the tops of all the little things that go on the, I don't know what you call them, but they have to be stone. So now they're Mechanicus Standard Gray.
Okay.
So got a little bit more work in front of me now. I got to dry brush the whole thing, all of it. Well, I have to wash the gray parts and then dry brush the whole damn thing. So
yeah, but God, it's going to be so good when it's done.
Yeah, I'm hoping they look good because those are fantastic sets. The more I monkey around with them and the more I see people doing stuff with them, they are just crazy over the top cool.
Was that all the stuff you own, or was that just one set? That was just one set, wasn't it?
That was 3 boxes of one set.
Jesus Christ, Bill. That was an absurd amount of terrain you had on the table.
Yeah, and so double that, and then add scatter terrain, 2 boxes of scatter terrain to that. That's what you get. So
for one set.
One set, yeah. It's a lot of stuff. Yeah. Yeah. And plus another Sigmar statue, because I only built the one Sigmar statue, even though the full set comes with 2. But I figure Sigmar ain't that cool. Sorry.
Holy.
Yeah, there is a lot of terrain in those things. You will, it's expensive, but you'll put a table together. A nice looking.
It's sorted. Boom, right there.
With scatter and some Azurite ruins or a mausoleum or something else to break up. You can have an impressive looking table. Which is cool. I mean,
for sure. I'm just thinking about, like, that is a lot of surface area to cover with terrain.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. I think it's wonderful. So, and it's actually it's good plastic. It's not that old.
It's not that cheap China.
No, that stuff that the gateway was made out of, and that horrible. No matter how you held it, you couldn't get the gaps to go away. This is all quality, nice plastic that you expect from GW. Everything fits. The doggies look good. I had a little issue with putting the dogs together. But
yeah, I saw some tiny gaps.
Yeah, I had to fill.
Yeah,
I had to fill a lot of that stuff. And it may have just been the way I put it together. I think I might have done it ass backwards.
Okay.
So it's what you get for not reading the rule book and just sort of slapping things together as they look. So, oops. But,
fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, and yeah, those are great sets, and leave it at that.
Cool.
What else did I do for creation? Oh, I finished up another unit of 10 chain rasps. So.
Nice.
Yeah. I still have to paint their bases because they're in that oopsie stage.
Oh, yeah. Got to tighten it all up.
Yep. They just got to get the rims painted, and then they can go join the other dead things.
Nice.
I see dead people
everywhere.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing because that's my army. Dead people. So shall we move on to the lore, I think? Oh. Did we want to talk about the Liber Chaotica?
Yeah.
Okay. Liber Chaotica came out today. Today, June 9th. Liber Chaotica.
Good God, that's a heavy tome.
It's all 5 books wrapped into one.
Oh.
So, it's, Nurgle, Slaanesh.
So it's not that it's something new. It's a collection of...
It's a reprint of the 4, which, I was interested in picking it up just to see if it was updated for, new stuff. But from my pass-through look, it's not. It's the other 4 books bound into a really nice cover and re-released.
How much was it?
65, 85. Really? I don't honestly remember.
I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of... I kind of want to go pick it up. Do they have any more?
Yeah, he had one there yesterday.
Is this a limited thing?
I don't believe it was a limited release, but they've told me that before.
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely one of those things you want to pick up as soon as you can if you're going to get it, because you don't want to take that chance.
Right, and they're pretty upfront about some of those things. Okay, so the hardback Liber Chaotica is temporarily out of stock online, but it was only $65. I was right. So
that is not bad at all.
No.
This is a gorgeous book.
Yeah, and it's all four of the old books. So
5, all 5.
5. Did I say 6?
No, you said 4. This is all 4 of the major gods, and then Chaos
Undecided.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, it's very cool, very nice. It's it's one of those things where you're not going to read it cover to cover. You're probably just going to pick up a spot here and there if you're a Nurgle guy and just read a passage or two. It's just, I don't want to say a bathroom book, but kind of a night table, if you really want to freak people out book.
Yeah, that kind of writing on there looks very much Necronomicon style.
Yeah.
Have that on your coffee table might be a bit. Put that next to your Aleister Crowley book.
Yeah.
Stuff. Yeah, that'll be a conversation starter.
Yeah, I'm thinking if you're going to make it a night table book, make sure you're not single, or if you are single, you're not bringing them to your room.
Right.
So I'm just saying.
Yeah. Definitely invite the missionaries in.
Oh,
knock on your door.
Have you heard the word of Lord today?
Yeah.
Actually, yes.
Yeah.
All 4 of them.
And they're vying for your soul.
All right, so should we punch on into lore?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Stormcaster, cool. Oh my God. You are so giddy about that. You are like a fat kid in a candy store that won't give you diabetes.
I am Augustus Gloop.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep, the fat kid in the candy store. That's me, buddy. So, lore on June 9th, 2019. What should we talk about? I know.
What's that?
Let's talk to Alex Palomini.
Who's that?
I don't know. Some guy from the East Coast.
Where's that?
Oh, so on the flat Earth, if you drive completely to the right,
yeah,
that's where you'll go. You'll go to the East Coast.
Sounds scary.
It's not.
Oh, okay.
No, seriously, in today's lore segment, we're going to be doing almost everything narrative. Because I'm going to talk about, Elric and I are going to talk about something happening at Las Vegas Open. Then we're going to talk a little bit about narrative events and planning them, and you'll see how it dovetails in. And then we are going to have a nice long talk with Alex Palomini, who was the brains and the spokesman behind the team that brought you Animosity 1, and then is going to be bringing us the series of the Animosity narrative worldwide events. And these are like narrative events that are open for worldwide participation, and they're going to happen about twice a year. And there's going to be an ongoing story that sort of ties every event together. But you'll hear all about it in the interview with Alex. And it's a really good listen. If you're into the narrative stuff, this is the show for you.
Definitely.
So to open up, I may have done a thing.
Uh-oh. Oh, Bill.
And in so doing, I may have included you in a thing.
Yeah, this is, like how that bit from Rick and Morty just popped into my head.
Yeah.
Why are you here? Because he wrote me into it. And him over there, he wrote me into it. And him over there, he wrote me into it. Yeah. Wrote me into this.
Yes, I did. So I actually volunteered to run the narrative Age of Sigmar event at LVO for 2020. So at what I consider to be the last minute, I got the green light from Reese, so I had to put a pack together real quick. And so at next year's LVO, we're going to have a narrative event. It's not going to be, something on the huge size of the Nova event, but it's going to be something that we can manage and pull off. And so we're going to kind of talk about where I'm going with it, and then we're going to talk some more about narrative planning.
Yeah.
So, in a nutshell, the way the narrative event at LVO is going to work is everybody's going to have to bring a 2,000-point army, but you're only going to play with 1,000 points at the very beginning, which may actually be very good because this new General's Handbook is going to come out with rules for 1,000-point army, or smaller armies that aren't
meeting
2,000.
engagements.
Meeting engagements, yes, thank you. So that will probably be the style that we start with. But the backstory for all of this is the players that show up for the narrative have stumbled upon an oasis in the Ekshi Desert. And this oasis is currently being vied for control of by 4 different merchant factions. And the players can throw in with these different merchants, and that's how the battles will take place, because different merchants are trying to one-up other merchants, because whoever controls the water in the oasis controls everything. And these guys want to control the water. So the players will have to deal with them, and you're going to be buying from these merchants. You're going to be buying upgrades to your army to add points. You're going to be buying stat upgrades. You're going to be buying things for your personal hero to use and to do and all this stuff. So it's kind of, there's going to be an interesting little menu that you'll be able to choose from depending on what merchant you go with. And if you buy certain things from a certain merchant, you're going to be locked into that merchant forever, because if they expend a lot of effort on making you cool, they're going to expect some fealty. So that's where Elric and Ryan and some others come in. They're going to help be the merchants during the during the games, or during the interphase between the games. So the whole kind of gist of the idea is I want to make it to where you can play every single game, and there's currently 5 games scheduled. But if you miss a game, it's not going to wreck, having a couple of players go to a seminar because they want to do a painting seminar, or they get sick, or they just don't want to play anymore. They want to go see Vegas. It's not going to break the whole campaign. So
what if one of the organizers makes the top 8?
A top 8? What's that? Oh, you were talking matched play things.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I don't care. I'm going to win my own event.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I mean, really, at the end of the day, at the end of the event, whoever has the most coins is going to win. You win coins by taking objectives during the game, as well as you might be able to stumble on some in other ways, too. So,
bribing the organizer.
That always helps.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, big time. Big time. So, and it kind of led us down this idea of talking about the difference between running a match play event, a 2-day, 5-game matched play event versus a 2-day, 5-game narrative event. And kind of one of the things I was looking at was, I wanted to get your idea of, what do you think about running a 5-day match play event? How much prep time do you think?
Well, hold on. A 5-day match play?
5 games.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for a second there, I was really trying to put together how the hell you would run a 5-day match play event. Wow.
Come on, Elric, stretch. I want to see you do it.
Yeah. That would be rough.
5-game,
okay.
2-day. Sorry.
I mean, yeah. So how I would approach putting that together?
Yeah.
I'll just get Scott to do it for me.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
The most interesting man in the world,
yes.
Scott Reed.
So I think you have to establish what you want the event to be like. So you can go just a pure hyper-competitive approach. There's no narrative to it. You're not trying to tell any kind of a story. You're just trying to crank out 5 games and generate a winner.
Right. Full ITC points. And
Yeah. If you want to do that and everything. And then you could start really, depending on, I guess what you could do is sit there and go through all the missions, because there's a ton of them now that you have access to. And you could really try to put together 5 missions that you feel could separate the meta out, so that, people would really have to take that into account when they write their lists. I don't know how you would do that. I mean, I haven't really approached the game at that level in quite some time. So I don't know, but I think that's definitely an option. And then that's to one extreme, I would think, and then you can start working it back towards doing things kind of like how they do at South Coast, which is a very competitive event.
Yeah.
But there is a narrative flair added to it where they're, kind of telling an overall story and little extra bits get added to the games and stuff. And I like that too because it still keeps things competitive, if that's what you're trying to accomplish. And it also changes things up from people who might just go to the store and crank out General's Handbook mission games over and over.
Right.
So, and it's also a nice little challenge too to say, well, in the regular handbook mission, I have to hold these objectives to get these points. And now you're adding this extra layer of, I have to get this model across the table, or I have to kill your most expensive wizard, or just weird stuff like that just adds an extra spin to it. And to me, I feel like that really helps separate higher level players who can take on extra objectives like that, keep it all juggled in their mind, and come out the other end with a victory.
Right.
To me, I think that requires an even higher level of play.
Yeah.
So while you are adding a narrative thing to it, which may, I guess for some reason, I know there are people who feel this way, that as soon as you start adding that narrative feel to a game, it starts taking away from the competitive aspect. And that, I think that couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah.
So, and then you start to, drift back to, you start drifting more towards the narrative side where you're just kind of using General's Handbook points so that everybody has like an air quotes fair army.
Sure.
And then you're just telling a crazy story from that point, which is kind of what you're aiming to do at Las Vegas Open. So I think you have to dictate what you want from the event before you even take another step forward. And then once you're there, you just kind of flesh it out from there. I know that sounds like just kind of a generic response, but I mean,
no, but it's the truth. I mean, it's
because if you're just doing straight up missions and not doing anything after that, really the only thing you have to come up with at that point is soft scores.
Yeah.
How do you want to incorporate that kind of, if you even want to have that.
Yeah.
You could just have 5 games of Smash Mouth Age of Sigmar with whatever people put on the table, and they don't have to be kind to each other or anything like that. And I mean, there is definitely a niche for that level of play, or that style of play, whatever you want to call it.
Oh yeah.
And then if you want to add narrative bits, you have to figure out what the story is you want to tell, and then probably play test it a little bit. See if those extra bits work.
Yeah, play testing I think it's the big thing that match play events have over narrative events is everything that, unless you're making your own scenarios, everything's already play tested for you.
Right.
You can just pick the appropriate scenarios or even dice for them on the day. Mm-hmm. And you're going to get games that are going to work because, well, almost all the scenarios work pretty darn well.
Right.
So.
Well, the scenarios work well. It might just be your army that doesn't quite.
Sure. Well, I mean,
and you have to take that into account
when
you write your army.
Look how long we've had some version of 3 Places of Power.
Right.
And you need heroes for that. And so don't bring your 1 hero army and expect to win.
Or if you do, you better be able to knock their heroes off real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick.
So. Gristlegore. I would take Gristle. Oh, no, I have plenty of heroes in that, don't I? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where, if you're approaching an event and doing an event, you do have to, I think, honestly, you have to put more work into a narrative campaign, a narrative event than you do a match play event.
Sure.
But when it comes right down to it, once you have your story decided, I think they become very, very similar in how you run things, especially if you run any kind of event with something like BCP, where you don't have to, you're not submitting scores and shuffling through 500,000 pieces of paper.
Right.
As long as as long as BCP is handling your needs, which, as far as I know for this one, I'll be putting in, I'll be simultaneously doing ITC scoring for the games so that people can still get points and have it count. But also the winner is not going to be the guy that wins the BCP app. The winner is going to be the guy who has the most coins.
Yeah.
So, but I still want people to be able to, if they're the kind of people that do like to have their points, they'll be able to get them. So, but then again, if you're the kind of person that likes points and you're not in the GT at LVO, why are you in the narrative? It makes no sense. So
who knows?
But yeah, I mean, I think the narrative stuff takes a lot more because you have to build the framework of how you're going to run the world and then play test it before you spring it on a bunch of poor convention goers who don't know what to expect. So, yeah, it'll be great fun. Trust me. So, and we will play test it. We will play test the crap out of some of those scenarios. And
yeah,
I want to try to use canned scenarios so that I can tell people what the scenarios are, months in advance, so they don't prepare for something they're not.
Right.
I don't want that to be the thing that trips people up is they didn't bring the right army. So,
well, it's also going to be a good excuse for us to get our hands on the meeting engagement rules.
Yeah,
too,
and the General's Handbook.
So
yeah, that's the narrative event flavor for the week or the 2 weeks. So we're going to be running the narrative event at LVO. Yay us.
Yeah.
So you'll be hearing more about it on this show. And of course, you'll be able to have access to the pack and all that stuff as soon as it's finalized through the LVO sites and probably from us too.
Yeah, it'll be a little while. So coming up next, we have our interview with Alex Palomini, who is going to be discussing Animosity 2019, which sounds like a pretty sweet event. And I mean, it's no secret that I've kind of been out of the loop on gaming and et cetera. And just listening to him talk about tying games together through a narrative thing just really got my creative juices flowing.
Oh, yeah.
And I couldn't help but sit there and think of like army ideas, character types, put together units. For some reason, that just really gets me going when people start talking about in-depth narrative stuff like that. So,
yeah. And he gives us a great background on how Animosity was going during the Fantasy Battles.
Oh yeah,
age
since 6th edition.
Mm-hmm. And then all the way up through, he just started Animosity 1 in October, is Animosity 2. And these are worldwide campaigns. Anybody can get involved in this. Yep. So it is crazy cool. So yeah, give a listen.
Definitely.
And once that interview is over, we're just going to end the show. So you won't hear from us again.
Nope.
Lucky you.
Bye.
Okay, so as we promised earlier, and I have been promising for months and months and months, we're now joined by Alex Palomini, who is the brains behind the Animosity campaigns. So, Alex, welcome to the show.
Hey, glad to finally be here. I know we've been talking about it for a while, so yeah, glad to finally make it happen.
Yeah, it's. I know, leading up to Animosity, you were flying like 3 different directions at once, trying to get all this stuff done, and it just didn't work out. But now that Animosity's over, you have a little bit more time, maybe.
Sort of. I mean, so yeah, I set a very ambitious kind of schedule for myself, and trying to juggle that with real life. I remember like we were talking scheduling, and then just you would pitch dates, and then I look at my schedule. I'm like, oh no, I can't. That's not going to work out because I'll be out of town or whatever. So yeah, it's my schedule's a little more free now, but we're jumping right back into developing Animosity 2. So
yeah.
So we don't get caught in a crunch, when October comes around.
I hear you, and I should mention that this was Animosity 1. You're going to be doing these as a continuous running narrative.
That is correct. Yes. That's the plan, and that's the experience we at the team wanted to deliver.
Sweet.
Would you like me to get a little bit into the background of the campaign, or because the background of the campaign and my own background is kind of the same thing? So
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, what I'd like to do is hear about how the idea gestated and how you got going with it. So, yeah, wrap it in. Tell us what
All right.
made you want to do it.
So, Animosity campaigns began in 2004 after the end of the Storm of Chaos Worldwide campaign, for those of you who remember that.
Yep.
Well, pretty much everyone in my local game store, I'm the only one who remembers that. So it's ancient history for some people, but for other people, they remember it quite fondly. And so the Storm of Chaos was a worldwide, for those who don't know, it was a worldwide campaign where the Games Workshop held, where players all over the world reported the results of their battles, and then that kind of got fed into a risk-like map, and that progressed the campaign over the course of 2 months. And Animosity was made by a bunch of people who were like mostly orc players, greenskin players, who were like, "Hey, that was great. We want to do it again." And so they put together the original Animosity campaign in, like I said, late 2004. So there's actually a section on our website, if I can go ahead and plug animositycampaigns.com. Under About, there's a section of past campaigns in the world that was. So the original Animosity one, like I said, that was 2004. And I ran the stats a couple years back. And as I say on the website, between 2004 and 2014, nearly 900 players participated in 12 campaigns.
Wow.
Culminating in over 80,000 or 8,000 threads and 175,000 posts.
Wow.
Damn.
So that was the original Animosity. I came in during Animosity 4 in 2009, which was set in Cathay. And so I pretty much, they were running about 2 campaigns a year. And it was the same basic idea where you got your map and people report battles, and the team kind of crunches the narrative. The theme has always been the same, just through different campaign teams, different incarnations. But yes, they were running about 2 campaigns a year, and Animosity kept me in the hobby between. Let's see, I came in late 2009, so yeah, between 2009 and 2014, kind of the local gaming group kind of went away. My brother moved away. I mostly played against him, so it was really kind of a dead spot in the hobby for me. And participating in these online campaigns really kept my enthusiasm up and kept me involved in the game. Otherwise, I may have drifted away, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, that happened at that time frame. Well, even really towards the end of 8th.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of people who were just getting a little tired of it. So,
yeah, because I started in 6th edition fantasy, and yeah, by the time we got to 8th, because I mean I dabble in 40k too, but I was getting bored.
yeah,
Again, without a local scene to really participate in, because it was just pretty dead in my area. Yeah, the campaigns kept me in it. So by the time Animosity 6.7 rolled around, I had made it up to the campaign team, so I was one of the game masters. And that was in 2014. And as we probably all know, in 2014, a couple things happened around that time. So the website itself suffered long story short, it suffered a catastrophic existence failure. So,
bummer.
Pretty much everything I just referenced, all those posts, lore, past campaigns, all of that, it pretty much just imploded. So there's
sucks.
one. Yeah, I have, like, a few of us still have bits and pieces saved. There's some stuff you can get on Wayback Machine. Supposedly one of the old admins still has an offline backup of the forums, but regardless, like that pretty much our existence, it everything our players had done just went offline. And then so me and the other game masters are trying to figure out, okay, what do we do? And then Games Workshop comes along like, hey, the IP you built your campaigns on? We're going to reboot that.
We're going to blow that up.
Yeah. So at the same time, our continuity blew up. The official continuity blew up. So, I mean, that was pretty much the end of it, because at that point, the community fractured. You had the Kings of War people,
Sure.
the Ninth Age people,
Yeah.
the fledgling Sigmar community. And so it was pretty much adrift for a couple years until... So I should say that I certainly never wanted it to die because it was such a huge part of my gaming identity, and I had made so many great friends with it, people I still know to this day.
Yeah.
So like I was invested, but it was kind of like, where do we go from here? I didn't have the keys, et cetera, et cetera. So until a couple of years later, when I had gotten back into Age of Sigmar, and so like I spent about a year there. I was super salty. I don't know. I think it was a bitter pill for even the enthusiastic people, but still.
Yeah, that rollout was not exactly the best that's ever happened. So
no, like I will defend the game to anyone at this point, but I can't defend that rollout. That was a hot mess. So
yeah, I think that sums it up. The way everybody feels is, we're in a good place now, but we didn't start here.
No, we definitely didn't. So I spent about a year being angry until, like, I still liked the models and everything, and I still was interested in the game. And my girlfriend, now fiance, Katie, she was like, "Well, if you want to get into it, I'll play Skaven." She keeps pet rats. We have pet rats. They're nice. Across the room from me right now. So, yeah, I got back into the game with Fire Slayers because I was like, well, I've already always played dwarves. I'll get the new Dwarden faction. So I got back into the hobby at that point, and then I was looking at Animosity because that had been such a big part of my Warhammer experience. And I discovered the previous admins had let the domain name
expire.
Expire. Yeah. So I scooped that up. I still had the passwords and stuff to all the old accounts and everything, so I just took it over.
Nice.
But I didn't really know where to go with it from there because Age of Sigmar, I mean, it was a new community, new game, and just our campaign model had been so built on having a forum, but internet forums aren't really a thing anymore. Like even TGA, I like the Grand Alliance. I don't make time for it like I want to. So
yeah, Twitter's kind of filled that void.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah, Twitter and Facebook have kind of just taken over.
Yeah, well, and Facebook, I realized that like it made me much happier when I replaced all the political pages I was following with hobby pages.
Yep.
So there's plenty of good hobby there, but yeah. So I spent a few years after that, and I was watching the, not watching, but like I observed what the Realms of War people were doing, and Steve Herner with Holy Wars, and the Nova crowd with Aaron Bostian, and the Coalescence. Global narrative events in particular. Like I was telling Bastian the other day when the first Coalescence came around, and like I saw like, oh, worldwide narrative event. You got your story, and you got everyone comes together and contributes. I'm like, oh, hey, this looks familiar. So I participated in the Coalescence events.
Yep,
and that was a lot of fun. I haven't, to my regret, I haven't made it out to the Nova narrative events yet. I've always had something else going on that weekend. But followed along with those, and so I just kind of watched like how the community was interacting with narrative play and what other people were doing, and I got involved in my own community. So this year, last summer, a new Warhammer store opened in my town, Warhammer Winchester. So I've been a part of the crowd there. I was part of the Age of Sigmar crowd at another game store that's about half an hour up the interstate from me.
Wow, yeah.
So, I mean, I was a part of those communities. I still am. And I got involved in running events with those crowds and for those stores. And, I wanted to take time to learn the communities, learn how to actually do this. And I just kind of sat on the domain name the whole time.
Yeah.
Like we had, Ming knows, because I've talked to him since the beginning. Like he knows we've had a couple of false starts where I was like, all right, we're going to do this. And then I'm like, nah, it's not the time. So yeah, I was helping, Brian Orban and, Aaron Bostian on an event that was supposed to take place on June 1st. And, just some issues came up with the venue and some other stuff. And we had to cancel out on that.
Yeah.
And that was when I was like, you know what? The date's open. I'm going to do it. Like, I'm like, I'm not going to do it unless I just, take the plunge, step off the diving board.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah. And so yeah, that's how this past weekend, the weekend of June 1st, came around. Um, and I set up a very, I mean, you were following along, so I set up a very optimistic kind of release schedule, which uh, we fell behind on, but we still delivered the campaign. I'm very very happy and very proud of that.
Yeah, I was gonna say it all worked out.
Yeah.
So, and everything
Um,
has to start somewhere. So
yeah. Yeah, and that's definitely true. Because it's funny because the Animosity, the original forum from 2004, I actually rediscovered that a few months back when I was starting to put all this together. So yeah, like it's funny seeing like that was the original start over well over 10 years ago now.
yeah,
And
15 years ago. Well,
yeah.
04, yeah, 15 years ago.
So yeah, it has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And I mean, there were a number of things of kind of the classic Animosity experience that we wanted to make sure to keep, but I also wanted to, make it relevant to the current community and something that they could engage in. So yeah, I'm happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, I kept up to date with all of the daily updates as it was going on, and I mean that sounded like crazy amounts of fun. And then Steve Foote and his guys running over there in England on the Monday just sort of capped it all off nicely.
Yeah, they wrote themselves in after the fact, so that was cool. So I'm trying to think, would you like me to go over like what we wanted the campaign experience to be, or what would you like to talk about from here?
Yeah, what's the goal of the ongoing series? I know you're going to keep going with this, and you're going to still try to hit 2 a year, right?
Yeah, that's kind of the plan.
So yeah, where do you see it? Where do you see it headed?
So we knew from our own history what we wanted the experience to be, and we wanted it to be a map campaign. We wanted it to be global. We wanted anyone at any level to be able to participate. So we wanted, if people wanted to write a bunch of narrative, they could submit that, and that would still get counted toward like the mechanics of the map control. We wanted people to be able to submit their hobby stuff. We wanted people to be able to play pretty much whatever games they wanted. So like if it's just you and a buddy in your garage playing what you normally do, you can still contribute. If you want to put together a multi-day event with all kinds of special narrative rules, like Aaron Bostian loves to do, you can do that too. So, we wanted people to be able to engage with it at whatever level they could and still be able to contribute. Because the way basically the campaign engine works is that narrative event organizers, originally it was every single player would submit their own reports. Again, kind of watching how things work in the community now, we thought it would be best to have individual narrative event organizers kind of report on behalf of their groups.
Right.
So basically, you play a game, and then your narrative event organizer submits that through a Google form back to us. And then at the end of each turn, which in this case was every day, we feed that into an Excel document that one of our team members, Nick Chapman, aka Bythier, that he put together our mechanics engine. So basically, we take all those, we put them into the Excel engine, and then that spits out percentages of map control, and that's how we determine each turn whether a location was defended, captured, whatever.
Yeah, cool.
So that was one of the kind of the pillars of the experience we wanted. Another pillar was we wanted. It was kind of my observation that a lot of narrative events are kind of like it's meant to be a sandbox where like you write yourself into whatever the setting is, and there's a big part of that. But we also wanted to publish a lot of narrative, which apparently we have that establishes like this is the time and place, this is the war you're fighting, these are the charismatic, we call them figureheads, the NPCs that are involved that kind of give you a foil to play off of. and write your story around. So like you have location, you have backstory, you have it. Our goal was to put your narrative, your army in a certain time and place as a part of a particular war, and kind of give that sense of grounding. So something I realized after the fact that I undersold as kind of the keystone of our entire campaign experience is the turn updates that you mentioned earlier. So when those results come in and we crunch the results, there's a field for narrative notes.
Okay.
And we ask for like if players want to provide that, we ask for like the name of their army, their general, and then just highlights from that game. And then from there, we write that into each turn's narrative. So when you're reading through each turn's update,
Oh.
and you see like the random, some names are like our characters because we never write player characters for them,
Right.
but we reference them. So if we let's see here. So I'm looking through my own update here. So like in the turn 3 update, it says Jack Vorpal and the Free People of Hogsface were here, but after the tide turned, they advanced on Yul Grimnir to establish contact with the Moon Daughters. So Jack Vorpal and the Free People of Hogsface are that's a player that's a guy, someone's general and their army from the Blacksburg event that ran. And the Moon Daughters, I'm trying to remember if that was Keegan over in Thailand.
Oh, wow.
It was one of the other events had a called the Moon Daughters, a warrior chamber. That was it.
Nice.
Kind of what we've done there through our turn update and our figureheads, our figurehead NPCs is we're placing the player characters in our narrative, in our battles, and you know that's two players who have never met us and they've never met each other, but their narrative is here together in the story.
Yeah, it's a way to make everybody feel included.
Yeah.
In the great big story as it goes on. I love that. That's fantastic.
So, and as far as you asked earlier, like where we see the story going. So kind of the way we look at it is we look at it as a play, but like an open-ended improv play where, you know, as much as we're like a risk-like map game, we're also just collaborative storytelling. Players fight to control the different map locations, but controlling those locations determines the course of the story. And that's why like we did all this writing to set the stage, but where the story goes, we, the campaign team, we're at the mercy of the players and, you know, who reports where and who does what.
Right. And
so, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, so Animosity 1, the results from this are going to feed directly into Animosity 2.
Yes, because that's something else. The original Animosity campaigns, they took place sequentially. Some of them took place because the old campaigns went all over the world, the Warhammer world. 2 and 3 were in Araby. Then we went over to Cathay. We went to Nippon. The old campaigns went all over the Warhammer world, and players like me would write our character into each one. So, like between campaigns, we'd travel to wherever the next campaign took place and write ourselves into that.
Nice.
And we kind of wanted to double down on that, and that, you know, you can take one army, one character if you want, and run them through successive campaigns, or you can start with a new character each time, new army, whatever you want to do. But our narrative, I was very much inspired by Josh Reynolds. And if you guys have read Spear of Shadows at all.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because I remember reading that and realizing, like, he took references from everything else he had written, characters, places, all kinds of stuff, and just carved out this corner of the realms you know, that was entirely of his own devising, and that's kind of what we hope to do. So we will never write anything that will conflict with sort of the main meta plot.
Sure.
The canon meta plot, but we do want to be a place in the Mortal Realms that you can feel like, well, my army went and fought in this place.
Well, and it's expansive enough that you can certainly do that.
Yeah, and that's kind of funny because with the old, like I realized early on with Age of Sigmar that the Games Workshop was trying to make like 40K, where you can write yourself into basically any corner of the galaxy you want.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's funny because with old Animosity, like we were literally running out of map. We had gone just about everywhere. When the site crashed, we were in the Sea of Dread and Ind. So the last two campaigns took place in and around Ind.
Jeez.
But we were filling in the corners of the map. But here with I should say when I keep saying we, I'm referring to myself because I've kind of spearheaded this project. But I've also had my good friend who I met through Animosity campaigns back in Animosity 5, Peter Charles. He's been with me since the start of this, I should say. We've got Warboss Kurgan. He's another old Animosity player. We kind of got the band back together. We've got him on board helping with our narrative and lore. And we have, again, Nick Chapman by here. He's, again, another old Animosity person. And he knows more about how to use Excel than any of the rest of us. So he built a campaign engine back in the day. So I tapped him. I'm like, hey, can you please help us?
Do another one for us.
Yeah. So yeah, he Wood he was part of the Wood Elf Forum, and they kind of did their own set of campaigns that weren't. They were similar to Animosity, but they weren't directly related. But he built the engines for those. So I tapped him to come help us out. So it definitely has been a team effort. I've certainly had the support, again, of my fiancée, Katie. She's been a big help. She painted a bunch of scenery for my event here in Virginia.
Nice.
So yeah, it's been a team effort.
That sounds great. I mean, the amount of work that you've put into both the website and it sounds like the back end as well, it's just crazy, over the top.
That's what we were hoping for. That's who we are. So
yeah. Oh, I think it's going to pay off really in the long run. I know I was going to run an event, the Animosity event out here, but we ended up losing the store for that weekend because of some kind of magic thing or infinity thing they had going on. I don't know. It was a whole bunch of smelly kids, but
sounds like Yu-Gi-Oh.
For what I know, it might have been any one of those.
Right.
So if I'm a guy that wants to run an event that takes place in Animosity 2, how do I go about getting started? I mean, how hard is it for me to get a group going to participate? And what do I have to do?
That's a very good question. That's something we are working on because from the feedback we've gotten, we realized like we published so much stuff on such a short schedule that some of the people are interested in playing or running, like they were having trouble engaging with it, and we certainly want to rectify that. What we're going to do here probably toward the end of the month is we're going to have enough content together to start publishing information for Animosity 2. Just off the top, it's going to run, we're going to do 5 turns, 5 2-day turns, so it'll be a 10-day campaign from October 11th to October 20th. So that's, again, 10 days, 5 turns, and 2 weekends, because we got a lot of people who are well, if it was, a weekend to either side, we could have done it, but we couldn't do it this weekend. So
that's always the case.
And that'll give me time to actually sleep between writing turn updates. So kind of realized by about Sunday that was important too.
I hear you. Wow.
So the bare minimum to get involved is come over to the website under the report tab, register after registration for Animosity 2 opens. Register as a narrative event organizer. You filled out the form yourself, so it's just a few simple questions.
It was easy.
Basically where you're located, what's your email, so we can push updates to you. And just what your venue is going to be, how many players you expect, that sort of thing.
Right.
From there, we will continue, as you saw, we'll continue to update you with what you need to know to run your event from there. And like I said, it can really be a group of any size. It could literally be just you and your friend playing one game. And I want to stress that with the way we have this set up, any level of participation matters. Because when you report, like say you lost a game, you report a loss, that doesn't actually subtract control from a location. It just contributes less. Because our thinking is, you still fought for your cause there. You still waged war. Like, you don't lose ground for losing a game.
Right.
And it's funny because everyone's always eager, like, well, victory, we're going to report that. So then you have a bunch of people reporting major victories, and you just end up with a stalemate.
Yeah.
So even a loss can actually change control of a location, and that's important with the way we structure our story. Because just a quick example I'd wanted to give a little ways back with this campaign, like the Varan Pact, the Slaanesh Tzeentch Chaos faction. They took they took a primary objective and they took a secondary objective. And what that did was it secured them an enlightenment engine from the Forbidden Power lore. That Sigmar and Grungni hadn't tampered with. So they have a techless enlightenment engine now. They also secured the Palace of Shadow, which kind of gave them more lore, trinkets, insight, that sort of thing on how to get the most out of that engine. They didn't take the Priest Tomb, which was their third objective, and they didn't take it by a fairly slim margin.
Oh.
And our model is very much choose your own adventure, but you can't go back. So
yeah.
They didn't take the Priest Tomb. There was kind of another story hook that would have fit into those other two if they had, but they didn't take it. That door is shut, and the story progresses from here. Yeah, if someone wants to get involved, literally they can do it at any level. We just need that registration so we can reach out to them and keep them updated. And then when the campaign comes around, there's a different form they'll fill out to actually submit reports to the campaign, and that's pretty much it.
Right. So if I'm kind of thinking about doing just a regular narrative campaign during that time frame anyway, I could fold whatever I'm doing into. It's not like your story has to take over everything, right?
I mean, honestly, you could play like a one-day tournament and just feed the results in from there too.
Yeah, I think I phrased that badly. It's basically you can do kind of any framework you want. You're there to provide a generic, the storyline framework, but from there, the individual Neo can either just use it as a pack, or he can expand on it as much as he wants.
That's our hope, yes. And it's interesting you bring that up because we fell behind on publishing an event pack for narrative event organizers to use.
Yeah.
But what we found was that we had at least a couple people be like, well, I read the lore. Here's what I want to do. Here's what we're doing. Like, especially Duncan down in Blacksburg. He went to town. Like he built his own narrative event from the ground up, just using our storyline.
Yeah, he did a lot of work from what I saw.
So yeah, I mean, we certainly encourage that, and we want people to make it their own, run the events they want to run.
Yeah, it sounds like. I mean, it sounds like this is a fantastic beginning, and it's probably just going to grow as you go along.
That's the hope.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's we're going to certainly hawk it, and we'll keep people apprised of all of the different dates as they come and go, and even if we can get you on before the next one, or around the time, I'd really love to, because it's just me and narrative. I kind of prefer narrative to anything else. So, and I've just been sitting here thinking about how do I work my free state that I've made up into this storyline so that it makes sense. And I've got all these ideas bouncing around in my head. And I mean, that's really what you need to do with these narrative campaigns is it sparks someone's imagination and then they just run with it.
Yeah. And that's certainly what we hope to provide. And it comes from a place where our current narrative event organizer team, like I said, me, Peter, Nick, Warboss Kurgan, we were all players. Like, we know what it's like to be inspired on the player side of that, and we want to continue that and bring it to a new audience.
Oh yeah.
So that's certainly the hope.
Well, it certainly sounds like. I mean, I would suggest to any listener, if you just go to the Animosity campaign's website and see the wrap up for Animosity 1, you'll see how much played into all the different results as they happen. And it's fascinating reading. It's just, I was ensnared as I was going through that. I'm not saying I did it at work, but I might have.
On that note, I want to just plug real quick. So what I'm working on now is folding everything we wrote for Animosity 1, folding it into a PDF document in sequential order so that you should be able to just read the entire campaign start to finish like a book.
Oh, wow. That's going to be, I was just thinking that's going to be like a serialized novel. That could be amazing.
So that's something we learned from the past campaigns, was that the old campaigns weren't archived in that way. So for a newcomer hopping in, like, it was difficult to kind of catch up on what was what.
Sure.
So we definitely wanted to address that. And just, if you go back through and read everything, it was very important to us to not just lay out a story, but kind of lay out, I'm trying to think how to phrase this without giving anything away. Basically, there's more going on.
Mm-hmm.
And if you pay attention to what you're reading, we've dropped hints and clues in there for kind of the grander story behind just the immediate conflict.
Yeah, there's some strings to pull in there, I think. I think there's a few little things that can be tugged on.
So this was a conversation we had beforehand. We do not want to railroad players. We don't want to have players feel like they're just coming along for our story. We want them to shape it. But there's bigger stuff at play that, depending on how the players conduct themselves, we'll nudge it and steer it accordingly, responding to their influence. So
right. Now, one other thing I want to clarify is we keep talking about a narrative campaign and what have you, but the way you have this structured, if I want to run, like, say, a one-day, 3-turn, 3-game tournament, matched play, I can still fold those results in, right?
That is correct. So what you would need to do as an organizer is, for each game that is played, you would have to submit a battle report, which is the player's coalition, their army, allegiance, or faction, whichever you want to call it. So, Blades of Corns, Knights of Slanesh, whatever. And for those who are listening who don't know, coalition basically means team. Yeah. We split players across, for this one, we split them across 6 teams. So yeah, we just need coalition, we need their faction, we need the map location that their battle took place at. And I want to clarify that both players do not need to submit their results to the same location.
Right.
They can submit it to different locations. Basically, for the purpose of our engine, you're just assumed you fought an enemy at that place.
Sure.
That's all we assume. And so, yeah, all we need is pretty much those, and then the game results. So loss, draw, victory, major victory. And that's all we need. So, yeah, you could literally run a normal match play tournament. As long as those results get fed back to us, we put them into the game engine. They get crunched with everything else. And, yeah, away we go. So
it's like the best of all worlds. You can do narrative play, open play. I mean, it really screams for narrative play. But if you just really want to run this, or if your area is stuck on matched play, you can still get people exposed to narrative by having them take part in this.
Yep.
And give them
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that's certainly correct.
Yeah. Maybe give some of those grognards a taste of being involved in something bigger than just 2,000 points on a table,
Yeah. And part of the reason why we ask for, like, the player's faction is when we crunch the results and we start writing this turn update. And I should stress that, like, reading the turn update is meant to be a part of the campaign experience. Getting involved in the coalition backstories, we call it the time of war, like the coalitions, the realm of battle where you're fighting. Like, getting involved in that is part of the experience that we hope players will engage in. It's not necessary, but we hope so. But when we crunch those results and we see, like, well, a bunch of Blades of Corn players reported to this location, when we write that update, we'll be like, hey, a bunch of Blades of Corn army kind of rolled over this place. So even in a tournament setting, the individual armies, and if we can get army names and general names, like, we can still write that into the narrative without those players having to necessarily create anything beyond, just their general's name.
Yeah.
Jamie the Jasper on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's got plenty of name generators. So,
oh, yeah.
One of my players at my events, he didn't know his Maggotkin general was Sir Ugly, and I should have written that in, but he went and he used one of the name generators, and it turned into where is it here? Splatchlos Carrion Clot, Leprous Plague Weaver of the Effluviant Mire.
Oh,
So
he sounds like a friendly guy.
Yeah. So yeah, he used the name generator, and I wrote him in. So
sweet, that's awesome.
I wrote him in defeating Aaron Bosty and Skaven, but
nice.
that was more a poke at Bostian than anything. So.
I hope so. All right. Well, is there anything else we need to hit? I mean, it's the website is animositycampaigns.com.
Yep.
And anybody can get involved. And honestly, being the person that organizes the group in your area it's not really, you can make it as much work as you want. It does not have to be anything more than submitting yourself and then following the updates as you guys send them out.
Yeah. We learned a lot from doing this one. So we're hoping our rollout will be just a lot more structured and efficient this time around. And if anyone we wanted to make sure that there's no cutoff for registration. Like, we open registration and you can go ahead and register as an event organizer up until the date of the event, and we'll just catch you up on whatever updates we need to. And I guess on that note, like, again, why we decided we wanted to work with individual event organizers is because there's just a lot of crunch. Again, you got the emails, there's a lot of stuff that we don't really feel the need to kind of put on the website and muddy those waters. But
right.
we do want the individual organizers to be appraised of what we're working on. So,
yeah.
If anyone can sign up whenever after registration opens, and we'll get you caught up. And like we've been over now, any level of participation, tournament, big event, small event, you and a friend, whatever, we're glad to have you. And your contribution will matter in our narrative.
That's awesome. I completely love this idea. I mean, I've liked all of the GW worldwide campaigns, but the way this one seems to fly, just where anyone at any level can take part, I just love that.
Yeah, no, we're glad to finally, be back doing this, because we had about 5-year dry spell there between the last one and this one. So we're there was definitely some emotion over last weekend, just being like, wow, we're back, we're really back.
Yeah, we're doing it again.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Outstanding.
Certainly on our end.
Well, I know for one, I'd like to congratulate you for getting that first one done, because that's the biggest hurdle usually. Yeah. And I'm certainly looking forward to the next one. So,
fair enough. Like I said, October 11th through 20th, and certainly you don't have to participate for the whole thing. We just wanted to open it up to try to catch as many people as possible.
Right. So. More dates, more opportunities. I like it.
Tentatively, I'd say look for more information on the next one around the end of this month, beginning of next month. We should have something put together. In the meantime, the epilogue of the turn 3 unfolding narrative, we call it, that'll give you some hints as to where we're going from here.
That's a good story. I like it. I like it.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Oh, hey, no problem. Is there anything else you want to hawk or talk about? Or
I mean, aside from just thanking, certainly my team, my fiance, everyone who's, you guys. I know you guys plugged me here on the podcast a few times. Plugged us, I should say.
Certainly.
I'd like to give a shout out to Aaron Bostian. You know him. He did went above and beyond to promote it.
Aaron Bostian. I've heard that name. What does he do? No.
So, and just a huge thank you to all the narrative event organizers and all their players for taking part. We had, I think it was, counting on my fingers here, I think 4 events here in the States, 1 in Thailand, and then Steve Foote the Monday after in the UK.
Yeah.
So we had a solid turnout, and just want to thank everyone who participated, and for those like yourself who signed up and just couldn't,
Didn't have a venue.
It didn't work well. And I know I also heard some feedback that like we fell far enough behind pushing out some updates. Some folks didn't feel, comfortable trying to get their events together on a couple weeks' notice, that sort of thing. So, everyone who's interested, I'm certainly glad we piqued your interest, and we'll be happy to have you next time if you want to come along.
Yep, it'll be an ongoing thing, and that's a great thing. So
yeah, and I guess that's my final comment with why we do the rest of it why everything else is put together the way it is because something we observed with the old campaigns was like people would make a difference in one campaign, and then life happens, they would drop out, you never saw that person again, but their impact was still reflected in the story down the road, and that's something we want to provide. So it's definitely, it is very literally an unfolding narrative. It's an open-ended adventure. We don't want to railroad players. So yeah, just sign up, report your games, and we'll take it from there.
Outstanding. Really want to thank you for your time, Alex. I know, it's Sunday and it's kind of last minute, but I really appreciate your making time to talk about it because I'm over the moon about it myself. Can't wait.
Hope I didn't ramble too long, but yeah, we'll be, like I said, we're going to be, we've talked internally, and we're gonna double down on development early in the cycle, get as much done, going into summer as we can, and then just cruise the last couple of months, hopefully.
All right.
Well, thank you for your enthusiasm and your time.
Oh, no problem. No problem. It's great having you, and hopefully we'll talk to you again here shortly.
Yeah, make it happen.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If you would like to get in touch with us, you can reach us on our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/rollingbadpodcast, all one word. Our Patreon page is at www.patreon.com/rollingbadpodcast, again, all one word. The Twitter account for the show is at @rolling_bad, and our individual Twitter accounts are, for me, at Bill Castello, Castello, and for Ryan, he is at RT Gamer. All of our guests on the show will have their contact information in the show notes, and any products that we mention will also be similarly placed in the show notes. The music for the show is used courtesy of Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com and used under the Creative Commons license.
Stormcaster, cool. That's the voice that I'll do if I do the Twitch commentary for AOS next year at LVO.
Oh, yeah.
I'll call it like this. Andrew Staniford moves his sequiturs around the left flank, requiring a 4-up to hit with 22 attacks. Let's see what they bring. Yeah. Oh, man. Right.
People would be fucking killing.
And the Star Dragon is down. Yeah.
Oh, it looks like he pulled a hamstring.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, that would be so
I don't know if I could do that level of enthusiasm the whole
game. No, that would...
Stormcaster, cool. Recording.
Yes.
All right.
Looks like we are.
Any silence or anything?
No, not really. The other one took care of most of that for me. I just want to make sure that's going down.
Excrement. God.
I have a whole bunch. I mean,
Here he is, the biggest douche of the universe. In all the galaxies, there's no bigger douche than you.
Epic fail. Nice.
okay.
Stormcaster, cool. Yeah, I keep cutting out for some reason.
I know. I keep hearing it, and I'm like, I
know what it
keep
is?
trying to get back to the mic.
I'm cutting out. I'm going too low again.
Yeah.
I really got to do that announcer voice,
Yeah.
Bill. I got to.
It does hit you when you drop down. So.
All right, fair. I'll try to pick it back up a notch.
Yeah.
Try to, boom, kick it up a notch.
Bring some energy, damn
Yep.
it. Okay.
I get hyped up on Coke and Monster before we do. I'll do our live show.
Oh, goody. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sucking down the monsters and dragging a line of Coke.
It'll be so good once it hits the lips.
Oh, yeah.
Which you won't be able to feel anymore. They'll be numb.
Whoops.
Okay.
Stormcaster, cool.
Sorry. I'm sorry. That just hit me right. A new level of disappointment for your mother. Wow.
Too real.
Way too real.
See, it's because we had Chad here earlier, and he
That's right.
broke me down as a human being. Now I'm trying to climb back up out of that hole. Okay.
Focus. This is why we don't do a live show, okay?
Should be good. All right.